and welcome back to the Director of Football Journeyman with Ciao Parento on Football Manager 2020 with me, Foggy Plays. Today we're going to look at the awards and the transfers because it is the 12th of December. The season has just finished. The new season will be starting in about a month's time. So we're just going to have a quick look at the overall best 11 and the awards and all that good stuff. So as it is currently, we don't have a whole lot of players we recognise in the overall best 11. We have Kekrish in goal. Is that our Martinez? Yeah, that's our Martinez. I thought I gave them new face. I mustn't have reloaded the skin. Geraldo at right back. Espanola. He was gone before we arrived. And Romero. Definitely gone before we arrived. Yegros. We do remember he's gone off to Saudi or UAE, playing a couple of games. Figara has gone to Saudi Arabia. A lot of our players are leaving for Saudi Arabia, or for Middle East, I guess. Gomez has gone to PSG. He's on loan. And Guimarães, interesting. A bona fide wonder kid now. He wasn't a wonder kid when he was with us. Santiago Casillas is off at Colo Colo, having just won the Copa Libertadores. Bastard. Could have won it with us if he'd stayed, but, you know. I think his agility's 20. Like, this guy was really good and he left us. Up front then we have Almada, who left before we arrived, who made his debut at like 15, I think. They're playing him as a winger now. He's a striker. Play him as a striker. Oh, damn it. And Machado, who had an absolute fantastic season. 38 goals in 44 league games. That is insane. Monge, who is on the bench, is transfer listed because he's a little bitch. Florentin is still with us. Candiaz after leaving for Saudi Arabia. Of course, where else would he go? Fidel Medina. He was the one that was leaving when we arrived. He's off at Minnesota playing a nice couple of games for himself. Domingo Chan, who left earlier this season as well. He's gone to Saudi Arabia. Yeah. He's scored a lot of goals this year for them. Centurion and Franco Perez all still with us. End of season awards, Machado obviously wins it. Machado was the absolute GOAT this season. Martinez getting second and Patricio Guzman getting third. Guzman was pretty good this season. Martinez wasn't ever present. Machado just scored so many goals. Young player of the season was Geraldo, so I guess he probably would count as. But Martinez, I'm surprised there's no signing this season. Goal of the season went to Giuliano, who not long after this goal was sent out on loan, which very annoying because we really this was. I'm not sure when this happened, but Giuliano with a free kick, bops it in. Fair enough. I really don't want him being sent out on loan this year. He is coming back at the end of the month. That's fine. We'll get to play him again. So the top scorer obviously was Machado, 44 goals. Geraldo with a 7.4 average rating. Most assists was Perez and Geraldo, 11. Kekrish had 95% pass completion. Most player of the matches, Machado with 9. When you score 44 goals, you're going to get player of the matches occasionally. Guzman had 12 yellow cards. Interesting. Luis Garcia and Geraldo with 1 red card each. Team of the season. I'm surprised Ben made it in. But with Kekrish, Geraldo and Guzman, Martinez and Diaz, Gomez and Ben. Ben didn't play that many games, did he? But he played 22. He played 22 games for us. I did not expect him to play that many games. Filintis and Yegras are wide men, Machado and Perez up front. A bit of a mix with Gomez and Yegras being players that were sold during the season, but it's fair enough. We did have a good season qualifying for continental competition. The fact that we lost the league on the final day of the season was not nice. We used 40 players. We did, the director of football did sell a lot of our players, which was annoying. So for next season, they do not want to sign players over the age of 30, which is just standard. Ideally, it doesn't get done, but potentially the director of football might do something stupid. They want us to work within the wage budget, sell players for a profit, which the director of football is doing. Minimum 3-year contract for first team players. I guess that's what he's doing. I don't know. Maintain the best youth system in the country. This is the best youth system in the country. Paraguay has a terrible youth system. And sign young players to develop for profit. They want us to win the league for next season and reach the group stage of the Copa Libertadores. We've already done that. As far as I'm aware, we're already straight into the group stage for finishing second. My contract does expire at the end of next season. We have the training, youth and data analysis facilities complete at some point during the season, and they want us to continue winning the league. I can get behind that. Dressing room atmosphere, you can understand we just lost the title at the end of the season. We're going to win the title next year. By Jesus, if we don't win it next year, I am leaving. The player who missed the most of the season was Vera. Most injuries was Romero with 6, and longest injury was Vera with 5 months. Damaged cruciate ligaments. Fair enough. Players are going on holiday until pre-season begins next week. They have 7 days. Pre-season preparation, we're going to go for yeah, we do technical. And Sanabria has signed a nice little 2-year deal with us. He has a 1-year extension with the club, which was fantastic. We do have 2 players arriving, as you're well aware. In January, we have Amarilla, who is a centre back. We'll see how he gets on when he arrives. And Peterson, who looks like he's going to be, I think this guy is going to be fantastic. He is just going to be an absolute monster, I hope. We're not paying anything for him, so exactly what the board want. So we will be back in just a second for our roundup of the transfers up to the point where the first league game starts, which last year was like the 19th of January, if I am not mistaken. We're already there. The 19th of January was the first league game last season, so we'll see how soon the first game is going to be. But we will be back on the day that game is going to kick off. So don't go anywhere, stay where you are. Right, fellas, it is the opening day of the league season. We're taking on Nacional Paraguay. That will be in tomorrow's episode, because we are going to go through the transfers that we've had and the Copa Libertadores draw. So transfer wise, we've been relatively busy. We have had a new director of football come in. The other one's contract expired, so we got a new guy who is actually better attribute wise than the previous fella we had. So players that have left: Monge has gone to Deportes Temuco in Chile for 82k. Just glad he's gone. He was a troublemaker, so he has left us. Probably don't want to be clicking on all their names because it'll take a little bit longer, because there's a lot of players in this database. Hector Battaglia, nobody cares about because he was a player in the reserves. Jorge Gamara was a left back who I thought was going to be, had a potential to be one of the first team players. Just wasn't that good. He's gone to Chile as well, I assume. Not Peru. Universidad San Martin de Porro. Like you can see, he played 4 times last season. I think more as like a backup. But when we got Guzman and Ricardo came into the team, just never really had an opportunity to play for us. I do need to stop clicking on their names because this is taking far too long. Joel Boy's gone out on loan. Gilberto Perez, who's another left back, he has left us for Universidad Deportes. Just a left back who wasn't good enough. And then Matteo Franquesca, who was our starting right back towards the end of last season, had to leave because unfortunately we had 14 foreign players, I think it is, and you can only have 10. So Joel Boy was sent out on loan. Franquesca, I put him on the transfer list. He went for 275k, now valued at 1.3 million. Fantastic. Players that have come in. Peterson, you'll remember, he was brought in on a pre-contract from Flamengo. Has had a decent time in he's played 3 friendly matches so far, given him the number 5 as well, because we are crazy individuals. I think that's the second time I fit that now. So the next player to come in then was Julio Amarilla, Paraguayan centre back, came from Trinari. I think he was the other guy that we had pre-arranged that he knew about. Actually, yeah, now I think about it, 99% sure he is. He's gone into the reserve team. He's not going to be a first team player to consider right now. He might break into the team if we have a literal shit ton of injuries, but as it is right now, not going to happen. Miguel Castillo came from Peruvian side Alianza Lima, 525k. This guy is just a nice all-rounder. Plays Mazzella, playing as a deep line playmaker. He's got 18 passing. This guy is probably going to be signed by PSG at some point, because that's what they seem to do. Just come in, sign our better players. He's not quite our best player, he's third, but he has plenty of potential, which is delightful to see. We'll see how he gets on. I'm fairly sure he's going to do quite well for us. More so probably as the Mazzella. Then we also brought in Diego Mendieta, who is 16 dribbling, 17 free kicks, 17 determination. We have found ourselves a free kick taker, my friends, and it is our new right back. Valentis is transfer listed, put it in the reserves. We can't have him because he is Brazilian. He is non-Paraguayan. He's not a Paraguay international person. He'll have to find pastures new, unfortunately for him. But this guy, tidy little amount of money, 550k, valued at more than he was previously, or what we paid for him anyway. So it's always good. This guy, he's good. Captain under 20 level. What more can you say? He's going to be playing games for us. He's going to get many games. I'm going to play him as an inverted winger though, not a winger, because I prefer to play inverted wingers rather than out and out wingers. And those 4 were all done, or they all arrived on the 9th of January, the day the transfer window opens. We then signed Esteban Resquin. He is a striker from Libertad who looks okay. Definitely not going to be first choice. Machado and Peterson, I think, are going to be the 2 main strikers, but Resquin, it's fine. 12 finishings, a little bit on the low side. Passing of 10, not great. He's not had the best of careers. He had one season where he didn't score a single goal. I'm guessing most of those came off the bench. He's really predominantly been a player coming off the bench for Libertad. So interested to see how he gets on. 625k, it's valued at 700. It could go up to, I think it was 775. I'll have to wait for it to pop up, but I'm pretty sure it's like 775 is what it could be if it ever appears. Yeah, 775. We did release a bunch of players as well. When I say a bunch, I mean quite a lot. We released quite a number of players. Ortiz, Saucedo, Cristaldo, Bulo, Gustavo Perez, Gustavo Perez, Jouto, they're all gone. Bunch of other random reserve and under 21 players. Don't really make much of a difference, if I'm honest. Copa Libertadores group wise, we have been drawn with Cruzeiro, Deportivo Táchira from Venezuela, and Independiente. So they want us to just be competitive, which I think we could do. I'm hoping we at least get out of the group stage. I want to get to like, what stage did we get knocked out last year? Quarterfinals? Yeah, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals last year. I wouldn't mind getting to the quarterfinals again, maybe getting to the semi-finals. Interestingly, group stage wise, last year's finalists, Colo Colo, said they drew River Plate. That was last year. Never mind. Yeah, Colo Colo and River Plate, last year's finalists, face off in the same group. So you'd hate to be Liverpool FC and Caracas, because they're just going to get dominated. Colo Colo and River Plate, surely top their groups, their top two guaranteed. Other interesting ones, Atletico Tucumán have a relatively easy group. I would say that probably Sporting Cristal would finish second in their group. Can't really talk much about Group 6. We don't know who the fourth team is, but as it is right now, Corinthians, gonna walk that. Group D, again, don't know who's going to be the fourth team. We'd have to say Internacional, probably going to be favourites for that. Group E looks hard. Boca, Flamengo, Libertad. Whatever team goes into that, they're screwed. San Lorenzo Universidad de Chile, probably going to guarantee top of their group, unless they get some mad team who are going through the qualifiers that end up being potential favourites. It's San Lorenzo and Universidad de Chile. Group G, Santos and Católica, probably the two strongest teams in there. The strongest, ironically, probably the weakest. And as I said, River Plate and Colo Colo probably favourites for their group. First qualifying round, like Lequenia and Danubo are in those this qualifying round. So, you know, they're not terrible teams. The other teams in the qualifier, not great. Who else? Like Barcelona, Ecuador, Alianza Lima, Gremio, Dunibo, Olimpia, Union Español, Penarol. There's O'Higgins. There's some good teams. Racing Club. Like, there are some good teams in here in the qualifying rounds. Like, there is definitely potential for some teams in this to scare a couple of teams in their group. Just say it. So, as I said, first episode of the season, which is, well, the first games of the season are going to be in the next episode, which will be Nacional Paraguay and Rubio Nu. I'm guessing are the team just promoted. They are 11th favourites to win the league, so one of the favourite teams to get relegated. 3 teams on 1,000 to 1. We've been moved up to 7 to 2 favourites to win the league. We were originally 3rd. They obviously like our recent transfers. Finance wise, we have just under 9 million in the bank. Projections changed since yesterday. It says we're going to have 1.9 or 1.39 at the end of the season, and we're just going to hemorrhage money for the next 2 seasons. Interesting. This originally was like 400k in profit, and this was like 6 million in debt. So I don't know what's going on. I just nod my head and say yes, of course, whatever. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. We still have 4 million transfer budget. Plenty of time left in the transfer window. We have 9 weeks. So don't expect the transfers to stop now that we've started the season. They're probably going to be quite a bit more. Rubio Nu and General Diaz, the 2 teams promoted, haven't brought any new players in yet. That might be a small bit of an issue for them, but we will soon find out. The major transfers so far, we've been involved in the top 3, all of them coming into us because we are going to push for the title this season. We're going to win. if we don't win, I'm leaving. Simple as. Well, my contract's up at the end of the season anyway. But if we don't win, I'm done. I'm leaving, because we can't dominate a season like we did last year and still somehow manage to not win the league, and then come the season after and still not win the league. I will be furious. Right, that is where we're going to leave it. If you enjoyed, do leave a like, comment and subscribe. Just let me know. Comment down below, who do you think is going to be the most important signing we've made so far, if any of our, was it 5 signings. If you think any of them are going to be amazing, let me know. Is there anyone we got rid of, that the director of football sold or released, that you think we're going to miss? Just saying it out, I think like at least Peterson, Castillo and Mendieta are going to be very important players. Rasquin, maybe. Amarilla, no. Amarilla is just, I don't know why. The old director of football had a hand in the 4 of these, I think. This is the new guy. Speaking of, I might as well show you what the new guy's attributes are like. Mauricio Navas, who was a player up until last year in Argentina, 35 years old, 13s in pretty much everything needed for a director of football, 80 in adaptability. This guy looks like he could be good, so let's hope he is. Right, we're going to leave it there. Please do make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Come back tomorrow for the next episode, where we're going to have our first 2 league games of the season. Thank you for watching, fellas. I'll see you in the next one.